school of thoughts actually have their own different concept. By the way, my name is Roy Ong. I will be sharing with you about the investment things in the general topics. I'm not going to actually zoom in into the details of how to invest and which school of thoughts you are from. We just talk about why we want to invest. And of course, in my first slide, I'm sure that you know this person. This is a magnate of investment world. Is Warren Buffett. He once said, "Never depend on the single income. Make investment to create the second source." Actually, this trigger lots of thoughts and inspire a lot of people, because one of the things that we have is time in our life, but time is limited. It's one of the resources that we own it, but it's limited resource. But we have a lot of other resource which is unlimited, because you have a lot of business opportunity. You have a lot of demands out there for different type of businesses or different type of projects. But the problem is, because everyone only have a 24 hours, and everyone have one limited lifespan. So in the very limited time that we have, how can we magnify our wealth within that short period? So because of these quotes, actually, it led a lot of people start to explore the world of investment. Okay, and the second thing that the next level of investment is called synergies. And in our own life, actually, we have a lot of opportunities there. But most of the time, we actually invest in something, then just that's it. But in fact, that there's a lot of a way of investment. One of the way is when you invest in something, actually that projects will actually synergize with your other thing. This is a few examples of what the giants are doing there. Like the Grab, they are actually doing very well in their business. But why they want to create the Grab Ventures? Because they want to actually explore in other opportunities. There is one saying that the value and the performance of the two companies combined will be greater than the sum of the separate entity. Means that when we invest, sometimes whatever we invest with the good project management consultant, your investment actually can grow even further than you just invest separately. And the mindset of those people who move from the poverty in the wealth, after I do a lot of research, I see that most of business of the investors, which is reputable in the market, they say that it boils down to the three things. The first thing is maintain the long-term vision and a plan. If you actually have a mindset of maintaining your investment in the long-term vision, or you plan it for the long term, then you are actually investing in something that most likely will actually generate more wealth than you. But if let's say you are investing something that within the short term, maybe today you invest, just a few days later you want to quit. So this normally we call it as a speculative. You are not investing, you are speculative on the certain things. And they believe that delayed gratifications. When I first time I come across with this word, actually is through the books called The Cash Flow Brother, The Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So inside the Robert Kiyosaki, the author of the book, have keep on emphasizing delayed gratification. During that time, I just graduated. I don't understand it because my parents never told me about this. But later, after I start to invest, now I understand fully. Actually, the delayed gratification is very important for us. A lot of the time, we actually we have a hard-earned money. We just spend it without planning. And some Chinese people say, you buy and then you enjoy earlier. 早買早享受啊. But in fact, that this is a problem that most of the young people out there actually is facing. So we must actually instill this kind of a belief that delayed gratification will bring us to have a better wealth in the future. The third thing is they use the power of a compounding in their favor. So later I will touch on the power of a compounding as well. And this is one of a very good example. I think since the first day I joined the MCM, this is one of the slides shared by Professor Max, our founders of MCM, to talk about one of the case, the real life case. This lady, 44 years ago, she banked in deposited 1,200 44 years ago. But 44 years later, she withdraw the money. The bank actually give her the total of amount that she can withdraw is 2,684 ringgit, dollars. This is overseas, is dollars. So let us think about it. During that time, what is a 1,200? This is a very huge amount because during that time, according to this newspaper reporting, it says that $1 can actually feed 12 person in a family for one day. And 1,200 actually can feed this 12 person for 3 years, 3.2 years to be exact. So during that time, this money, when you get this 1,200, during that time, you can buy a piece of land or you can use it to build the bungalow. But now when you look at it, 2,684, what can you do with this kind of money? Imagine that this is the power of inflation. If you neglect the power of inflation, you will actually pay for your neglection because you actually ignore whatever happens to your wealth. And this is the just when I talk about the cash flow quadrant, which is mentioned in the Rich Dad Poor Dad book. This book actually, the author Robert Kiyosaki, he authored this book during 1997. Then I graduated in 2002, and I read this book. During that time, I actually already learned a lot of the things. I'm sure that a lot of you already heard about this book. But I would like to touch a little bit on this because I follow all the series of the Robert Kiyosaki books, even the newest book. Actually, inside we actually learn a lot of things, but the fundamental of investment actually still falls back to ESBI. Let us talk about this a little bit more. For the in this world, there is two kind of people who make their money from. One of the people is left side of the quadrant, the two quadrant. They work very hard. They make their money by trading their time. But right hand side is they use the system to make money from them. So you see that there is a B, there is a I, and inside the book I still remember clearly. That is one sentence that Robert Kiyosaki actually mentioned many times, is that if you want to make sure that you actually acquire the wealth, one of the things you have to learn is to sell a business. And during that time, I don't understand. I just says that I can invest, but why I want to, if I let's say I want to be rich, why I want to sell the business? I don't have any business. I can invest. But actually, when you look at it carefully, you'll see that as an investor, you are actually acquiring the business. So you are also the B. You are actually owning a part of a business. So I'm sure that most of our RE today, actually, you actually invest, you own some of a portion of a business out there. And when this business grow, when they make money, they will actually pay you the dividends. So this is the way that you own a system that work for you. So we are actually, at the same time, we are the business owner. At the same time, we are the investors. And when we map it into the concept of an ATM, you'll see it even clearer. Like today is the money making system is the garbage in, garbage out. If let's say you actually just put in the money and this ATM actually doesn't work very well. It's just like the normal ATM, like you put in the 10 ringgit, they will pay you 10 ringgit. So that's most of the people out there actually what they are doing. And some of the people, they trade their time for money. So they work, they input the work, they deposit their time. And after that, this ATM machine, when you want to withdraw, they actually let you withdraw the money every month for the next 20 years, next 30 years until you retire. Actually, that is what you earn. But for an investor, when you put the money inside this ATM machine, and this money, this ATM machine will compound your money, and they will actually appreciate because of whatever asset, the investment asset that you invest. They help you to generate the money. And what is the output is they are actually giving you the freedom in terms of money and in terms of a time. That's why it makes you have the time to enjoy the life you want. Okay, this is basically the overall things that normally people, when they talk about the investment, what they want in life. First of all is a financial independence, and then retire early. In the short, we call it as FIRE, FIRE, in financial independence, retire early. And the first thing is the financial security itself is, the meaning itself is the money is enough to sustain your life and sustain the things you want to do. So different people have the different meanings in terms of the financial security. Some people want to build a hospital as a charity purpose. This is your life goals. So financial security can allow you to do that. Some people just barely want to actually let their family members have a very good education or have a very good life. This is the financial security meant for you. And financial independence means that if you today stop work, you don't need to depend anyone to actually support your life, because whatever investments that you made previously can help to sustain your lifestyle. And then the third one is, of course, to build your wealth, to make your wealth become larger and larger. And of course, the fourth purpose that you want to invest is to attain your goals. Some people, which is one of my friend, is quite old already. He has a whole family members. Every year they go to travel, and the money, the expenditures of the traveling expenses they use is actually from a trust fund, and this trust fund is actually automatically actually generate the income for them, because for the past 25 years they use this investment to keep on investing into different investment products, projects and businesses. And now they accumulated more than 30 different businesses. So this makes their whole family have this kind of a lifestyle that they can afford. Okay, let us zoom into the different elements in the investment, because when we invest, it's totally different as what we are actually building a business, or what we are doing when we are working for other people, because there's a lot of things that we can use as our tool to build our wealth. And these tools can actually magnify your wealth easily, effortlessly, because lots of these tools is already there. Let us go into the first thing, is a compounding. I think some of you might know compounding, but some of you don't really know compounding, but it's okay. This is a quote that actually shared by Albert Einstein. It says that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. What it means later, I will talk more about this. And Warren Buffett also says that the time is your friend, impulse is your enemy. Take advantage of a compound interest and don't be captivated by the siren song of a market. What he's trying to say is a lot of people, he's too emotional. When he listens, he hears something bad about whatever he invests, then he quickly want to switch his mind. But actually, in fact, that throughout the history, you'll see whatever charts, even the history of a composite, the stock composite stock chart, you'll see that the share market always goes up and up and up. Even in the short term, it may go down, but in the long term, it actually will go up. And when we put the scenario in this table, we will see it very clearly how the compounding works towards you. And you have to know how to use it efficiently. If, for example, today you have 100,000 and then you do nothing on this 100,000 after the 10 years is still 100,000 because you don't invest in anything. But some people say that I want to actually invest, so-called invest in the fixed deposit, which is it give you a return of 3%, but fixed deposit have a compounding. So you see that this 3% after 10 years, it will you have generate the ROI yield of 134,000. And if let's say you have a 100,000 and you put into the 10% of per annum of the some investment, it will generate 100%, which is total you will get back 200% of after 10 years. But when we apply the compounding with the same 10% per annum with the same capital you are actually injecting, it will actually grow hopingly to 257,000. So it's a very big jump. If let's say you see this, that is an additional 57,000, which equivalent to additional 57%. But some of the people might argue that now I just start working, or maybe I don't have that much of money. But let's say if let's say you every year you put 10,000 to the investment that generates you 10% every year, and then you compound it, actually it will give you almost similar like what you have without compounding during that time you look at this part. You will generate 175,000 later when you get back. Of course, 100,000 is your capital. You generate 75,000. So this is a 75% of your return, even at the very small return at 10%, and you actually pay just barely 10,000 per year. So the power of a compounding actually can let you see the power of it. I want to share this is because that is one rule we call it as the rule of 72. What is it means that is that is, if let's say you want to double your investment, you just divide 72 by the percentage per annum. Then you will get the year that you can compound your money. For example, today you want to double your money with the 10% per annum. You just need 7.2 years. Your money will compound, will double. So put this scenario to the just now the lady that put in the bank. She actually put in the money of 1,200, and then after 43 years with the compounding, the power of compounding, after 43 years, she's getting $76,800. It's not $2,684, which is ridiculous. So even she do nothing and did not invest in any asset, just putting in investment vehicles that generates 10% per annum for them, they can generate 76 times of her investment of a capital. And the second thing is we call it as a leveraging. Leveraging, there is a lots of way to call it. Most of us in the investment world, we call it as a leveraging. But of course, some people say that it is actually borrowing the other people's resources. But always bear in mind that when it comes to the investment, we'll have to acknowledge that there's a lot of things that we don't have. For example, we don't have the money. If let's say you want to invest in a real estate, you don't have that kind of money to invest in the real estate. So what you do is you get the money from the bank. And if let's say the bank borrow you 90%, your leveraging is 1 to 9. So that's called leveraging. And actually, this once said, give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the world. So this is a power of the leveraging as well. So there is a 7 different type of leveraging in the investment. And when we come into the money, just I give you one very short example is the bank's money. So you can't buy, you cannot invest in such a big amount. Then you can actually borrow the money from the bank, and then actually you leverage on the bank. Whatever you appreciate that you enjoy is yours, but you just need to pay the bank interest. So that is the first level of the leveraging. And the second leveraging is other people's time. You'll see that when we actually invest in some businesses, the people who actually work for the company, actually in another way is this staff is actually working for you yourself. And whatever the profit generated by the company actually goes to you as a dividend. So you are actually utilizing the people's time, letting other people to work for you. And third one is the experience. Just like GIC, the GIC community is very good example. Like for example, I joined GIC 5 years ago. Throughout these 5 years, actually, I learned lots of things. I'm from the engineering background. I never heard about the all this structure, all this preference share, all this what we call as option to convert, all this structure of legal. I never know all these things. And I never know of a business taxes. I never know of the legal structure of a business. I never know of how to do the business in the creative way that can actually generate more money, how to scale up a business. All this, we use the experience on the other people. And number four is other people's idea. You see that in the market, there's a lot of talents. Admit that I'm not the one who have a lot of talents. I'm not the one who actually is very creative. Well, you see that if let's say some of the ideas is very good and you foresee that it will actually fit very well into the trend of the future, then you can actually invest into their companies because of the idea. And number five is the invest in other people's work. And in some of the companies that we see that the entrepreneurs, they start their business, they are actually working very hard to build their business. They're actually doing a lot of the background work. They're doing a lot of background framework to build the business. We are leveraging all their mind and their hard work effort to do that kind of a thing. And also we also leveraging on, for example, like in the GIC, we leveraging on the MCM's due diligence capability, because every project MCM is also the lead investors. And a lot of this project, MCM already go through a very thorough due diligence, and they have a team of a board of conveners who is experts in different industry and different field. So we are actually leveraging on their work to do the due diligence for us. Of course, it doesn't mean that you don't need to do your work. You still have to understand what is the due diligence we have made at the behind of the scene. And the number six is the other people's qualification. Qualification in terms of, for example, some of a project actually it require 50 million for you to invest. This is a minimum amount. But MCM already actually invest in this project in a certain level. We already qualify to invest that. And you can actually tag along us to join us to invest together with us. And the number six is the other people's network. I believe that sometimes when we are working on our own project or working for other people, or maybe we have our own business, our network is limited. We cannot know everyone in the whole world or even the whole market. So like my background is engineering. I can't know the people in the grocery industry like the Jocom. We cannot know the projects in terms of the fintech, cannot know the people in the construction field. I don't have that kind of a network. But because of this, when I want to invest, I can actually leverage on other people's network to identify the very good project. So I can use those network to my own advantage. So that's the power of leveraging. Next is a hedging. Of course, hedging is to take the steps, take the action to reduce the risk of reduction of your value of your investment. So for example, like inflation, our inflation, the common one recognized by the government one is 3 to 4%, but lots of people feel that the real inflation is 6 to 7%. So when we actually invest in something or we put our money into the fixed deposit, it generates a yield of 3%. Actually, all these 3% already eaten up by the inflation. So we need to hedge against the inflation by putting our money into the assets, into the different type of asset, be it the real estate, be it the equity, be it into the commodity. There's a lots of way for you to hedge against the inflation. This is also one of the things that the most of you are aware of it, but actually we cannot feel it sometimes because it actually, this happens very slowly. We cannot feel it. in Malaysia, we have 5 different version of notes already. So this one is a publication of a different type of notes, and sorry, 4. So now we are using the 4th generation of notes. And last time I remember that when I was young, during 1980 something, 1990 something, me and my dad goes to the convenience store. So just within 100 ringgit, we can have a very huge trolley of the products, and we can use it up for almost 2 weeks to 3 weeks, and sometimes even 1 month. That's why we go there 1 to 2 times every month. But you see that this is a real case. When I put 50 ringgit and then I put a Milo pack there, people say it's exaggerate. But you go to Lazada, you check 3.2 kg of the Milo. How much is it now? It's a 51.2 ringgit, 51 ringgit plus. After offer 49 ringgit. So just one piece of a 50 ringgit, you can buy only one packet of a Milo. So coming soon, you'll see that every 10 to 15 years, we have a new notes. So coming soon, let us wait for maybe 2025, and then we see this 50 ringgit. Can we still buy this 3.2 kg of a Milo? I doubt so. Maybe you can buy a big packet of Lays. I don't know. And the next is the diversification. So diversification is one of the very general terms that a lot of investors will use this to reduce the risk. It's a management strategy to manage the different type of investments. And there is an idea behind the diversification that with the variety of the investment will yield a higher return. Of course, that is some elements of a hedging against a different type of projects. And also, the investor will face the lower risk by investing in the different vehicles. So there are, of course, a lot of different type of diversification in the market. But we just basically zoom into these 4 types because this is the most general one when we talk about it. So one is the industry. So this one we are, for the past few webinars, we always talk about this illustration. You will see that during this period, like the COVID-19 pandemic crisis, you will see that a lot of the business are affected, highly affected. But you see that at the same time, a lot of the business actually take advantage of this crisis and grow to the next level. And of course, one of the most benefited industry is the medical supply and the service industry. But those who are in the tourism industry has suffered the very huge hit because of this industry, and the aviation, the maritime, and the automotive people are not willing to buy cars during this period. But you see that the medical supply, the groceries, the food processing and retails, and personal and healthcare, and e-commerce, which lots of people, they cannot go out, they actually purchase the things. So this is when there is one face of shillings, the coins, you will see another side of the coins which the people will make money from. And we use the real case as an example. Like this, on the left-hand side, that's the examples of the industry that actually have a big blow, like the tourism industry, the retail industry. People cannot go to the brick and mortar stores to buy the things. The hotels, nobody actually traveling, so people are not staying. But on the other hand, you will see that in the market, there's a lot of businesses like the rubber glove, like the LKL, one of my favorite stocks, that actually they are doing the bait of the work and all these actually make a lot of profit. And actually, if let's say you invested in this healthcare industry. And next is by country. So left hand side, you see the lots of European country actually suffer a huge damage because of this coronavirus incidents. And we have a Eurozone have a downturn, and US jobless hit the new height in the history. But at the same time, you see that IMF says that Malaysia's GDP will grow 9% in 2021, fastest amongst the Asian five of the countries. One of the main reason is actually the Malaysia, when we control the COVID-19 cases, we control it very easy, very efficiently. And second thing is the rubber glove is actually one of our export products that actually helps us. So it can help us to recover faster. Although everyone is suffering, I can say that no one actually benefits, but some of the country, because of a certain industry, they actually can grow and recover faster. Like New Zealand, like actually surprising China, a lot of other area actually benefits for this as well. And manufacturing in some economies, actually they are helping. And when we combine everything together, you will map it out, and then we will see that some industry in certain region, they are doing very well. But when they goes to another region, they are not doing very well. For example, healthcare in India, they are not doing very well because due to the environment, due to the healthcare system over there. But in some of the regions like the Southeast Asia, the media and entertainment, the healthcare industry, and the food delivery, due to these incidents, actually they are growing very fast. So we have to bear in mind that always diversify into the different industry, so that if normal days, if nothing happens, there's no black swan happens, then every industry will help you to generate the income and to grow your wealth. But if there's something happens, some of the area will actually help to compensate whatever losses that made in other area. Of course, when we come to the investment, we have just now we talked about the four strategy with four tools that we can be used, but beware, there's always risk attached in every investment. And also there is one thing we call it as a scam. The scam, when we use a very nicely put into the words, is when a man with a money meets a man with experience. The man with the experience ends up with the money, and the man with the money ends up with the experience. It means that if, let's say, you don't want to learn in the investment and you just purely rely on whatever people feed you, so it's most likely the people will actually scam your money. If, let's say, the man do not have the trust and integrity, if the men have their own agenda, they can actually play around and tell you a lot of the stories and actually come out with a plan to actually make the money out of your ignorance. And in Malaysia, Malaysia is one of the money game country in the world. It's a famous of this because you can actually see a lot of different type of money games of scam actually happening in Malaysia. This is just a few of the reporting. But actually, if let's say you search from Google, if to your surprise is actually there's so many incidents. This one is just reported by the stars, but actually there's a lot more. So when we talk about these scams, the real reason behind all these scams happen is because of the lack of a financial literacy. So this is a hard fact that we need to know. One out of the three Malaysians admit that they do not have the confidence when it comes to financial knowledge. And 76% of the Malaysians have a budget, but 2 in 5 find it difficult to keep it. Why? Because they don't know how to differentiate what is a scam, what is the right investment, how to analyze the investment. And around 1 in 5 working adults have not saved in the past 6 months. And this one, I can endorse this statement because I have met with a lot of my friends and my relative. When I talk to them, since I actually in this investment, and the investment myself, when I talk to a lot of them, actually, to my surprise, a lot of them, even to the age of 55 and 60, when they are retiring, they say that they need to depend on their offspring, their next generation, their sons and daughter to actually survive. And why we should invest through a right platform like the MCM. Of course, just now the four tools actually we can have all this when we do all the projects or when we actually starts to invest, we actually have all this in mind. We combine everything together. We know how to actually position ourselves, how to take action when the things go sour. All this we actually take into consideration. And the true value of the right platform is, of course, the trust and integrity. So we know that some of you are new in our team, and some of you are actually with us for a very long time. Even before MCM was established, you already know the founders. And throughout this year, you will see that there's a lot of thing that when we do the things, when the founders of MCM do the things, is actually based on the trust and integrity. And always remember, Professor Max always told me, people before profits. The people is more important asset than the profit, because we believe that when we are building the network, we are actually sharing our own, we have a like-minded investor, we are sharing the same interest together. So one person invest and a 100% invest, the value is different, the power is different, actually the networking is different. So actually we are doing things in one. And when it comes to the integrity, whatever we actually do it, we always want to under promise, over deliver. So this is also one of the goods that Professor Max always told me. When I learned a lot of things that actually, this is one of the things actually carved into my mind, is always under promise, over deliver. And the culture of a GIC platform that we would like to mold is everyone would like to learn together, share together, and teach each other, and educate everyone together. And we assist everyone together, and we support when that is needs. We need to support, then we will support everyone together. So this is the three things that we always want to emphasize in the investment, which is the three right things: right knowledge, right mindset, and right expectation. With the right knowledge, you must have the right mindset as well. And also you have to expect the right things. Why is it so? That is because you have to train yourself to become the sophisticated investor's mindset. Although you might not be one, but one day you will be. So you have to see the end in your mind. See the end in your mind. You need to know that where you are going towards. So if let's say you want to, one day you want to become the sophisticated investor, you have to first control your emotions and the feelings. Just now I've already mentioned, Warren Buffett always says that a lot of people, especially the retail investor out there, they are too easily overwhelmed by the emotions and the feelings. They're affected by lots of the bad news, negative news, speculative news, or inside so-called insiders news, and they will panic, and we call it as a panic selling or panic buying. But when you look at the one company in the one business or one company or one investment at the fundamental level, you'll see that actually there's nothing when actually the company is growing very well. So all these rumors or all these things that won't actually affect the company to grow. So of course, if let's say the something turns sour, we have to take the right action rather than we are panicking to look for the opportunity to sell it. So this is the right mindset. So we always say that the sophisticated investors mindset is you always have to think that you may lose money in any investment, but there is always risk associated in all investment. If you cannot accept the risk, then don't invest. But if let's say you recognize that investment is one of the very important thing that you want to grow your wealth, please accept the risk and please recognize the risk. Please identify the risk and do your own due diligence to find out what is the risk attached and what is the opportunity of the growth attached to that investment. And as a conclusion for my presentation today, there are two types of ignorant people in the investment world. The people who invest in anything, but they don't try to understand it. And also there is a people who do not want to learn and understand anything, and they don't want to take action to invest. So all these two people are also considered as ignorant people. So we see that there's some people, they will invest in anything and tell you that investment always there is a scam, and then he actually spend more than she earned or he earned. But there's a group of people always will tell you that please don't invest this company. They are the scammers. They actually want to make the money out of you, but they don't try to understand before they give a comment. So these people, I see too many of them, especially in the social media. A lot of them, don't be surprised, they never invest. They just comment that this is a scam, that is a scam, a lot of the things is a scam. All right, so I conclude my whole presentation with this photo. This is, of course, I think all of our RE knows that this is the one of the favorite quotes that Max always told us is knowledge is power. It's actually endorsed by the Kofi Annan. So we know that the knowledge can change everything, can change a lot of things. It can change the financial status of us as an individual. They can change your family. They can even change the country because of the knowledge, because of the education. Please always learn and then implement it. Thank you very much. I pass it over back to
Okay.
Lucas.
Yes, thank you, Roy, wow, for such a wonderful and informative training for us tonight. So a round of applause for Roy. Okay, you can click on the reaction. Thank you, Roy. Thank you, Roy. A very powerful topic tonight. So I think everybody enjoying his training tonight, right? Okay, so if you are enjoying his training, please show your thumbs up. Okay, right.